On today's show, a clash over our boundary waters. Twin Metals wants to mine right up against the BWCA, but critics say the project will pollute the protected wilderness. Today, Minnesota Bound digs up both sides of the debate.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill, Millie and I welcome you to today's episode.
A Chilean mining company wants to mine nickel and copper right on the edge of the boundary waters.
And the story is back in the headlines as some Minnesota politicians want to push the project through government avenues.
So we are big fans and big users of the boundary waters. So today we're going to take a look at the potential impacts and the potential risks to our beloved boundary waters. Some places we the people protect at all cost. Vast miles of undeveloped woods and water cover northern Minnesota's Arrowhead. A place of wanderlust, always has been. A maze of lakes and rivers long ago labeled both perfect and pure.
The air is different, the water is different, the smell is different, the sounds are different.
President Theodore Roosevelt saw merit in Minnesota's North Woods. His proclamation of 1909 created the Superior National Forest. In the 1950s, the U.S. government further mapped and created the boundary waters. A 1978 act permanently protected the boundary waters canoe area wilderness, now 1.1 million acres of land and 1,100 lakes. A wilderness to never be developed, but forever explored, only on foot or by canoe. A protected destination that stirs up plenty of emotion these days.
This mineral resource here hosts about a third of the United States copper deposits.
We're talking about 700 high-paying jobs in this area. This is a new mine. This is the future.
This is crazy. What the hell are we thinking? How could you ever put a toxic sulfide ore copper mine next to really the world's most popular wilderness?
The town of Ely sits smack dab in Minnesota's North Woods, a wilderness burb that seems to survive on outdoor fun and tourism. But if you look closer, not everyone believes in an economy of camping in canoes.
Ely has always been divided. This is an interesting town. We've been at war with each other since 1907.
The dispute stems from a proposed copper mine. Twin Metals wants to dig just minutes out of town, not far from the edge of the boundary waters. To appreciate Ely's debate is to first better understand the project.
This is core that has minerals in it, and you can see the gold pieces. Those are the sulfides, which contain the minerals that we're after. And this is just water.
Dean DeBeltz heads up Twin Metals' Ely operations. He grew up in Ely. Twin Metals wants to exploit a rich underground deposit of copper and other metals.
We've drilled over 2 million feet of core.
That core revealed exactly where Twin Metals' treasure hides.
Every box is full of core. Every box was hand-loaded on the shelves individually.
The company hopes to mine deep underground, all the way down to 5,000 feet. A processing plant back up on top would separate copper, nickel, and other coveted metals from the sulfide ore.
You crush it, pulverize it, and you're left with the copper concentrate, a nickel concentrate, and tailings.
Ah yes, the tailings. the leftovers from the mining process. Here is where the story gets interesting.
Dry stacking tailings means that you're taking that mine waste and you're really pushing the water out of it. So you get to a beachy sand kind of moisture content.
The problem, say critics, mining copper creates sulfuric acid. It's a simple chemical reaction when sulfide ore contacts air or water. But Julie Padilla says Twin Metals can mine copper, nickel, and cobalt without danger to Minnesota's environment.
For us underground, we can surgically extract them, remove them, and ensure that we don't have acid generation in our tails, and we're ensuring we protect the environment as well.
Twin Metals plans to bundle that sand-like mining leftover into giant piles 120 feet high. Workers would cover those hills with soil, then trees and plants. Engineers call the technique dry stack.
This is one of our hydro well sites. This is actually MN 547.
Twin Metals has already drilled 60 water testing wells.
We need them to help build our model to understand the hydrology of the entire area. It's really to understand water as a whole, the big picture.
The big picture really looks like this. The proposed copper mine sits here, south and east of Ely. Twin Metals wants the dry stacks of mine tailings to go right there. And the water? Well, that's Birch Lake and the Quishwe River.
Quishwe is really the main artery of the Boundary Waters.
And that funnel of moving water creates the big debate. Opponents of the mine project say potential pollutants will alter or ruin our scenic boundary waters. We paddle deeper into that discussion next.
We have an incredible resource here that needs to be protected.
This is not a panacea, it's not a boom. It's just a potential for a disaster.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Star Bank, Rapid Marine Family of Dealerships, and by Crush City.
Now, Travis, you're just house sitting. You can use my Connecticut water for the plants, but that's all, and behave yourself.
Have a great trip and catch some fish for me. It's so crystal clear. Oh, come on, buy a bowl. Don't worry, girl, we'll get you all cleaned up.
Travis!
Ron! Home so soon?
Forgot my lucky lure. You simply can't leave my Connecticut alone, can you?
Connecticut, even house sitters can't resist worry-free water.
Ron Schera here. I've mentioned before that Star Bank is our bank at Ron Schera Productions. Now it's fair to ask, why Star Bank? Let's count the ways. First, Star Bank is owned by a Minnesota family with Minnesota employees. They know us, we know them. When you call Star Bank, an employee answers, not a recording. Located in 11 Minnesota communities, Star Bank provides all the services a bank should provide. So now you know why we chose Star Bank. We like a bank that cares.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Nothing beats memories made on the water. Time to make your own. Start now with a visit to Rapid Marine's family of dealerships, your ultimate resource for Lund boats. Rapid Marine sells more Lund boats than any other dealership in the country. Depend on inventory and expertise and the best service around. A great selection of pre-owned boats, too. Visit Rapid Marine's 4 locations or check us out online at rapidmarine.com.
Look at that freaking Bronco bug, baby.
At least one Minnesota politician wants to kill a 20-year ban that would prohibit Twin Metals from mining copper and nickel on the edge of the boundary waters.
He insists the mine is a must in order for the United States to fight and win wars.
But not everyone is convinced. Ely, Minnesota's chamber touts this tourism town as the last great pure experience. But some folks here see a clearly different perspective.
This community is in the decline. They want economic development here, and this is an opportunity.
Twin Metals representatives say building a new copper mine would change Ely's economic landscape.
Over 700 high-paying jobs full-time at the mine itself. That results in 1,400 direct spin-off jobs, and then the economic impact outside of that.
Again, you know, we often talk about mining versus tourism, and they've coexisted for as long as this town has been here.
In this downtown outfitting shop, owner Steve Paragas does not mince his words.
Hell no, not in this place, not in this beautiful, pristine place where the water is the cleanest there is in North America.
Paragas has helped tourists paddle off into the Boundary Waters for more than 40 years. Before that, he worked as a biologist.
Every copper mine that's ever opened, there's lots of studies on this. In the last 25 years, every one of them pollutes within a few years.
Exactly why, on this morning, outfitters gear up.
This is the dry food.
Lucas Leaf offered to lead a group of curious writers and conservationists into the Boundary Waters. Leaf works for a nonprofit focused on protecting the Boundary Waters at all cost.
We need to talk about the now and what we have here and what everybody can see and experience here.
The idea,
we're going to be paddling upstream today
to visit Gabbro and Little Gabbro, two Boundary Waters lakes near the proposed mine site.
Gabbro is named after the rock which is so common here.
The very same sort of rock Twin Metals hopes to mine.
The 200 rod portage.
These people represent voices that do not oppose mining. They just see this project in this pristine place as an absolute mistake. Leaders like Land Tawney, a BWCA newbie. Land lives out west in Montana and fights for public land use and, more importantly, its protection.
We are here to elevate the voices of the people that are here on the ground, that has been here and wants to keep it the way it is.
We hike gear off the grid and into the wilderness, where the only way in and out is by your own power and your own urge to explore.
You can talk about an issue as much as you want, but people need to see the place that you're talking about and experience it and see and smell and touch. And that's that experience that I think we need to protect for future generations too.
The concern among opponents of the mine slides by right there. See that current?
The mine's along the border of the South Kawishwe River on both sides of Highway 1. It's within a half a mile of the Boundary Waters border where that underground mine might be eventually.
Steve Paragas and plenty of other critics worry that current would quickly carry Twin Metals pollution right through northern Minnesota's wilderness watershed.
And the idea that all this water flows north and where the mine is on the southern edge just doesn't make sense to me. There are some places in this world that we should not even think about threatening. And this is one of those places.
Closed captioning provided by Premier Marine.
Every day at Premier, we're building something special. A place to discover, to connect, and where memories are made. That's because at Premier, we're not just building the world's best pontoons. We're building your pontoon. Visit your local dealer today. Premier, we go beyond.
Flow aluminum dock systems are made to bring time at the lake to a whole new level. You can create any layout you want and accessorize it for comfort and fun. They're strong, stable, safe, and they add a beautiful touch to your shoreline that will last for a very long time. Maybe it's time to join the thousands of other families that have turned their dock into a shoreline paradise. Maybe it's time for a flow.
Hi, I'm Millie. Yup, that Millie, star of the screen, queen of the field, and a state fair icon. Most days, my schedule is packed. Chasing birds in the morning, fan appearances in the afternoon, and did I mention I host my very own TV show? People love me. A schedule this glam takes some serious fuel. That's why I eat Nutrisource. Their commitment to quality keeps me healthy, energized, and my coat? Softer and shinier than when I was a puppy. What's inside matters, and Nutrisource keeps me feeling like the star I am.
Is your home's foundation on the move? Cracks in walls, sticky windows and doors, and uneven floors may have you feeling uncertain. But signs of foundation movement may not be as worrisome as you think. Safe Basements is the right choice for honest foundation evaluations. If we find a repair is needed, we'll treat your home like it's our own, because keeping your family safe is just as important to us as it is to you. Call Safe Basements today to repair your foundation for good.
Did you know that Twin Metals of Minnesota is actually owned by a Chilean mining conglomerate called Antofagasta?
Yeah, that company has a well-documented history of mining violations. But even so, representatives of Twin Metals say the mine on the edge of the Boundary Waters should happen.
But not everyone agrees.
Ely's 130-year mining tradition lies in iron ore, the raw stock of steel. But Ely's new proposed copper mine would change that history. Twin Metals project would introduce a more volatile form of mining, what experts call sulfide extraction, a process well proven to be very hard on Earth's environment.
Sulfide or copper mining is a threat to this area, not only for that, but also the robust economy, outdoor economy that this place supports too.
The beauty of our area brings people here, right? This mine can help support living wages to keep people here year-round and enjoy this area. That's important.
This is Ground Zero, a beautiful place. This is exactly where Twin Metals hopes to someday be mining, right here underground. And no matter which side of this debate you're on, the question remains, is it worth the risk?
Our strong stance is no, absolutely no. It's not worth it. We have strong economic studies and science-based studies that are all peer-reviewed that are also saying the same thing.
This recent Harvard study suggests that any mine near Ely would ultimately have a negative impact on the economy. It is a classic boom-bust scenario where any initial gains eventually disappear, just like people and the mine.
We keep this place clean, our jobs are sustainable. Mining is absolutely never sustainable. The resource goes away, it gets used up. How can it be sustainable?
You have 20% of the fresh water in the entire national forest system here, and 3 million acres in the Superior National Forest. It would be a huge mistake if we did anything to threaten this area right now. Huge mistake.
Seems to be the consensus on this night in this Boundary Waters camp.
Dirt's gotten underneath my fingernails. It's a place that, I think I was already committed to protecting, but now it's even deeper inside of me.
Truth is, each of us must have a voice. We as Minnesotans must decide what is most important in our land of 10,000 lakes and 1 protected boundary waters. What do we covet most? Places we, the people, protect, or those we choose to exploit?
We've been gifted to us. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We have this conservation legacy in this country. And so now it's our turn to do our part to carry that on.
Up next, Ron Shera shares a few thoughts on why the Boundary Waters is so important to all of us.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Flow Docks and Lifts, Safe Basements of Minnesota, Nutrisource, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
You may be developing your own opinion on the Twin Metals copper mine.
Even so, we all probably need to be reminded as to why our nation's leaders saw merit in protecting that wild space.
My dad, Ron Shera, shares a few of his own thoughts.
If you've never ventured into Minnesota's Boundary Waters wilderness, the experience offers an odd juxtaposition. Countless people purposely head into the boondocks carrying survival gear in a Duluth backpack while also lugging a tippy canoe across a portage to travel lake to lake. Come nightfall, those same people typically sleep on the ground in a tiny tent surrounded by mosquitoes. They'll awake with a stiff back and a chill in the air. Next, they'll have to find firewood and prepare something edible for breakfast. Hey, there's no McDonald's down the block. When it's time to eat, they'll have to find a rock or find a stump for a chair. And they'll cherish every moment. How can that be? Mankind has been trying to eliminate these same hardships for centuries. Yet some of us choose, as they say, to rough it, which means to go without conveniences, to use paddle power to cross the lake instead of horsepower. So what gives? The answer lies in the minds of each and every person who enters the Boundary Waters. Each of us goes forth, goes minimal, goes slow for our own reasons. A wilderness offers this kind of smorgasbord of human values. There's something about the need to slow down. You can't cross a lake in a hurry, not with a paddle. So you rediscover the mental value of taking your time. Slow down. There is much more to life than rushing through it. Listen to the wilderness. Wait for a bite. Catch a fish. Enjoy the morning. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the sunset. Is a wilderness experience reality? Yes, but we can't stay there. We live a hustle and bustle lifestyle today in America. That too is reality. But a visit to true wilderness, such as our Boundary Waters, offers a chance to, well, renew our human spirit, to take stock of life, to relearn the joy of simple pleasures, such as finding a good log to sit on. That sounds corny, I know, but it isn't. This may explain why so many of us fear the idea of mining on the edge of the Boundary Waters. Mine supporters promise more jobs and pollution controls. But what if they're wrong? What if the mine accidentally poisons the waters of our wilderness? Is a mine with jobs worth the risk? We can create jobs in other places. We can't create another Boundary Waters.
If you have your own thoughts on this proposed mine, we encourage you to reach out to your local state representative or state senator.
In the meantime, we will certainly keep a close eye on the story.
Until next week, remember to always introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com and follow us on Facebook to keep up with our latest adventures.